The 81st legislative session is underway in Carson City, and as you can imagine, it'll look a lot differently this year because of the pandemic. But lawmakers say they do expect to get quite a bit done. Paul Nelson joins us live from the legislative building down in Carson. Paul, what are legislators saying about this year's session?
Well, they're hoping they're going to get everything back to normal before the end of the session, Kristen. The legislature is required by law to balance the state's budget. Right now, projections looks like they might have to make some cuts, but not as many as they originally expected. Now, there was quite a bit of bipartisanship on display today, and lawmakers say that's going to be needed in the coming months.
The state legislature is officially underway with 120 days until the finish line. Lawmakers, staff, media, and a few others are allowed in the building, but many others are not for COVID safety reasons, including lobbyists.
Hopefully they would consider changing that and following the governor's rules, limit this building to 25% capacity the same way a grocery store has to.
We very much want a time for the building to be full of people when it's safe to be. We want the public here. We want our committee hearings to be as full as they possibly can be and safely.
Democrats and Republicans have their own list of priorities. They'll release those in the weeks to come. For most, it comes down to health care, education, and the economy.
We have to get Nevada back to work and the kids back in the schools, and that has to be a priority without question on that.
There's just no getting around the fact that we are still in the middle of a global pandemic, and certainly healthcare will be a priority. We need to make sure that we're addressing the pandemic and then, of course, the economic crisis that is following the pandemic.
Legislative leaders say they're excited to have the lawmakers back together. There will be challenges, and that's why many are hoping for a bipartisan session.
There are going to be tough decisions, and everybody's aware of that. But how is together? There's no other answer. We've got to work together and find some common ground where there can be.
There's still a lot of hurting families out there and a lot of hurting businesses, and I hope that we constantly are listening to them as we're making these decisions.
As for the budget, right now the state is looking at about a $500 million shortfall, but they're hoping those numbers will improve come May. That's when the Economic Forum comes out. Covering the story live in Carson City, Paul Nelson, 2 News.